Next, we have student from Sir Alice Kadori School, West Kowloon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Reshma Ale and we are from Sir Alice Kadori Secondary School. She's Kiran and she's Neha, and over there she's Sonia. So today we're here to share our experience about our visit to Disneyland. So on 10th of April 2010 we visited Disneyland, and I'm sure you all must be wondering why we're gonna talk about Disneyland, right? Because obviously all of you have already visited Disneyland, but for us it was a very different experience because we didn't just went there to visit those beautiful princesses or to enjoy those rides or those musical performances, but actually we went there to learn something. And yes, throughout the day we did learn lots of new things and the experience was very different. Now let me tell you the awesome thing that about the visit. It was the whole experience itself. And I'd like to give all the credits of our experience to our mentors, Mr. Angelito, Mr. Satron, and Mr. Lau, who is sitting over there. And because of them, we get to see the backstory of Disneyland. We get to see what's going on behind the curtain. And I would just like to thank them. And let me talk more about our mentors. Mr. Angelito, he's the dancer in Disneyland, and Mr. Satron, he's the band leader in Disneyland, and Mr. Lau, he's the associate manager, and he guided us throughout the trip. And now I'd like to pass the mic to my mate, Kiran.
Thank you, Reshma. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, like my fellow said, that our trip to Disneyland was one of those few trips that helped change our perspective completely. That's from a perspective of a visitor to a perspective of a worker. And with no doubts, they have quite a number of differences. The main reason behind joining this program was to help us get an interview of how the workers successfully carry out their works and gather some information for some of the alternatives that quite a few of us might choose after completing secondary education. Moving on, well, it might seem quite easy to stand, smile, and greet the visitors as they come to visit Disneyland. However, after talking to the staff in the Disneyland, one thing has become rather clear, that it's not as easy as we think it is. It is very important for the staff to show their gratitude and kindness to people of all the ages who come to visit Disney. They must express their joyfulness very exuberantly with a wide smile, so that it will leave a picture in one's mind for a long period of time, and they wish to come back again. We started off by talking to an industrial engineer, who are people responsible for assembling new rides as well as carrying out maintenance work on the rides. She informed us about the important procedures and things that they have to keep in mind while they create new rides. For instance, the capacity of the rides is considered to be one of the most essential ones, due to the reason that if a ride is able to fit in proper and expected amount of people, then it helps maintain a good flow of rides without forcing the visitors to wait any longer. However, the case is quite different during crowded days. She mentioned that monthly inspections are carried out to ensure that any damage to the rides can be avoided. In addition to the monthly inspections, a much more necessary and important inspection is carried out twice a week, which is much more grand. As we proceeded further, we got an opportunity to speak one of the band leaders, who particularly is Mr. Satin, and about the process of performing as well as joining Disneyland. They have to perform thrice a day and work 5 days a week, but their job is not stable during the important occasions such as festivals, as they have to showcase their routine and entertain the guests. They do have to keep their smile on as they perform during the day, as a way to spread positive energy into the people who come to visit Disney. Towards the end of the visit, we attended a casual talk with custodials. They are people who play an important role in maintaining the hygiene and guiding people to their ways. They're not only those people who help clean Disney and make it look as tidy as it is always, but they're people who are knowledgeable in a different manner. They have to accurately remember the type of solution and cloth needed to clean different types of materials. One of the most interesting facts they shared was that they usually use a mixture of coffee to draw a picture of famous Disney characters on the ground, so as to entertain the guests. They dip this end of the broom into the liquid to form images. They are no exception from the most important rule for the staff in Disney, that is to keep their smiles on. After visiting Disneyland for a different purpose, we have realized the true importance of smiles and happiness they share. The main reason behind is to create positive memories so that the visitors wish to come back to the land of fantasy once again, and as they hopefully return home with faces full of joy. Before this visit, it was common for us to listen to such comments about Disneyland, and during those days we paid no attention to it. However, the staff members in Disney have to keep this goal in mind each day, as well as abide by this rule. And I realized that one will never understand the importance of others' work unless they try their hands on it. Every job deserves respect, as none of them are easy to handle. Now I'd like to pass the rest of the time to one of my fellow.
Now I would be focusing more about the interview we had conducted after the visit. We had interviewed two members of Disneyland, our mentor, Mr. Saturn, and Mr. Angelito, also known as Mr. Angel. And they shared many things with us which are probably suitable and useful for everyone, especially students sitting over here. As you know, Mr. Saturn is a musician. He started learning music from having fun and enjoying it. He first started learning piano from grade 2. No one was a musician in his family, but he yet enjoyed making music and learning about it. Afterwards, he started to join bands in school, and more people started to know and discover his talent. And to our surprise, we're glad to have him as a successful musician today. Through this story, he was trying to convey that love your body, self, and what you're doing. You will never know what will happen. Well, he actually coded that out. His parents were not into music, but he still made his career into great success. If he had not believed in himself, it would have been not possible maybe to have his all achievements that he has right now. You never know what will happen tomorrow. He also emphasized on what you want and what you like are different. What you want is something you're eager to achieve, and what you like is maybe just your preference. So strive for something that you really want to become. You may have many things you like, but it's not necessary that it's really what you want to become. And Mr. Angel also had a couple of things to share, especially for the dancers. He believes that dancing career is short. What it means is that one has to stretch body more and explore more to become flexible at a young age. And it's important to learn the techniques in dancing. He mentioned that dancing career is a challenge but a non-stop process in which you have to learn as well as teach, and it's also a learning process. Just briefly, Mr. Angel actually graduated in psychology profession. His mom always wanted him to have a science-related career, but this was not his passion. With this note, he also told us that the first important thing is to passion to drive, and later comes the other options, just for in case. For this, he explained that we have to have a clear focus. You might like doing many things, but there should be this one particular thing that you're attached with. For example, let's say, for instance, a person wants to be 3 things, like a doctor, a dancer, and an actor at the same time. And he's trying to give his best for all these. But it's likely for him to end up being nothing, because he had too much to focus and worry about. It is better to have a clearer vision and develop yourselves. Mr. Angel also emphasized focus. He also shared one of his favorite quotes. If you want to be somebody, want to go somewhere, wake up and go there. To this, I would like to add what Mr. Saturn said. No one will know what will happen tomorrow. These were some inspirational stories they had shared with us. To sum up, I gained a lot of knowledge, and the things highlighted in the interview were focus, passion, and do what you love doing. You will never know what will happen. We may be having many future doctors, dancers, engineers, businessmen, actors, firemen, athletes, and etc. right here in this hall. We never know. Now, I would like to pass my time to my other fellow.
Good afternoon. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the experience I in Disneyland. So honestly, the opportunity of visiting such area was quite valuable. We all as visitors may just go for some rides and fun, but have you ever noticed or thought about the people behind to make it success? So it takes a lot of manpower, different kinds of professional work together to make this possible. For instance, the engineer, performers, and cleaners, etc. From this visit, I got to know more deeply about how Disneyland in Hong Kong is operating, and I had a better understanding of how Disneyland is from the workers' perspective and about working there. So if you guys are interested in dancing or music, then you have a great opportunity. So if you wanted to work there in Disneyland as a dancer, then there is an audition every year, and you have a high chance if you study in APA, Academy of Performing Arts. And if you wanted to join as a musician, you can apply for a position, and when the person quits the job, you will be called for an audition. So you may find the relevant information on the internet. So lastly, I'd like to thank HKUGA Education Foundation, Hong Kong Disneyland, our mentors, Mr. Angelito and Mr. Saturn, and Mr. Lau for guiding us, and our teacher, Miss Yu, and Mr. An. So that's the end. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us. One thing I heard, very important, to have passion in your life and have passion in your job. Now, no matter what job you have, dancer, musician, if you have passion, you'll be successful. Remember this, if you have passion, you'll be successful. Okay, we heard that from their presentation and from the mentors.